Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Today we're going to carry on just sort of putting a few finishing touches to our new oil refinery. I'm just going to gather up that little bit of iron ore there. There's only one miner needed for that, so we can bring that down and just tag that into this little section down here. I'm also going to build a factory, a plastic sort of production line, so that we can have that, and very soon we're going to be able to start researching the rocket silo, which means that we will be able to eventually we'll get all of the new bits and pieces that you get with that. There's a whole load of extra things unlocked. First of all, I'm just going to make a few extra robots. I want more construction robots so that when I put something out it gets built a lot faster, and we get a load more logistics robots. It's sort of to take up the slack so that when something does suddenly urgently need doing, we've got loads of robots all over the place to help do it. It sort of speeds the whole process up quite a bit. So we've got 50 new construction robots plus a whole load more logistics robots, about 70 going in there, and that should help keep things ticking over nicely. All of our science packs back there, they're all full, which is excellent, so we don't need to worry about any of those. Now I've got some storage. It's always handy to check the storage chests every now and then, just to double check that everything going into them is what you want going in there, and they haven't been putting in anything extra that you didn't really want filling it up. I've got the robot frames being made there, and I've got solar panels being made here. I think I'm going to change these round. I'll start making the solar panels again. I'll change these robot frames around so that, actually no. I'm not gonna change those round. I'm gonna make another excuse me. I'm gonna make another factory in a minute, and we'll use that to start making accumulators. We don't quite need as many accumulators as we do solar panels, but I will put in I think I'll put in a smart inserter so we can limit the amount of accumulators that are being built. I think that'll be the best way to go about it. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Right. I'm also just kind of running around back and forth as I'm just waiting for a few things to catch up and let the lines accumulate a little bit. And around this stage of the game, I find that because I've got a couple of different maps I've been playing on, and I do find that around this stage of the game, this is sort of what starts to happen. You spend a fair bit of time just waiting for things to accumulate, while you start building much larger copies of everything. And I did just back there, I was just chucking in a chest for the batteries. So all those batteries that we started manufacturing in the last episode, they're now being made in... well, they're still being made. They're now being brought across by the robots, put into that requester chest that I put down. So here, this is where we're going to build our accumulator factory. I'm going to bring down some iron from up there because you only need iron and batteries to build accumulators. So we'll just bring that underneath there, and I'll drop down a smart inserter here so that we can just pick out the batteries and we don't pick out any of the steel. That's going to come down there, so we've got both products that we need right there. I'll put a blue factory, if I just make one of those really quickly. We'll drop one of those just underneath it there like that. And I was thinking that I would put it out onto the conveyor belt so that it goes over into the other chest, but I've actually thinking about it, I think it's probably better if I put it in a separate chest, and then I can put in an inserter and I can limit what goes in there, and it's not going to block up the conveyor belt. So now I can program this one. I've put all of the accumulators in there, and I can program this one to set 500 of those, and then I'm also going to program a smart inserter for the solar panels and probably set that to about 600, because remember we use slightly more solar panels than we do accumulators, but I don't want masses and masses of either one of them there when we don't have the other. We want to sort of try and achieve a balance if we can. So there's that one set up there and that one there, and we've also got the robot frames being built continuously. So if we want to expand the map quite rapidly, we've got loads of robots available to start bringing extra things out. Now the next thing that I really want to build is I want to increase the power armor that I've got. Right, I've got a small set of power armor that's got the 5x5 grid on it. So I got batteries and I got solar panels and I got a roboport. I'd like to get a slightly bigger set of armour. I can't get the biggest one yet, the 10x10 grid. I don't have it ready to unlock, but I would like to get the 7x7 grid, which will at least allow me to have a portable fusion reactor, and I can get a couple of extra little goodies to go with it as well. We'll get to that in a bit. I'm just going to build the plastic production line here. I need plastic and I need coal for this one. I need petroleum rather, and I need coal. I made a whole load of productivity modules, and I'm going to put those here into the refineries and also into the two factories that are cracking the light oil down to petroleum, so that's going to get as much as possible out of those. I am thinking seriously about putting a load more productivity modules onto the pump jacks and leave those there until the pump jacks get down to that 0.1 per second or per minute, whatever it is. I can't remember. I think it's per second. But once they reach the 0.1, it's no point in having the productivity ones. Then you want the speed ones. You want to drive up the speed at which they're pushing it through. But initially, I think that the productivity ones might actually be more beneficial. You'll end up getting more oil out of the ground. So that's I might just put a whole load of those making later on when I've got a bit of time spare, or we could set up some factories to start building them all. If we're going to start building productivity modules, I like to put out a whole line of the different sets of productivity modules, and the speed ones and the economic. Is it economy? I can't remember now, but anyway, yeah, you know, the green ones. And we'll set the whole lot up together, and so that they sort of move from one to the other and then to the next one and do the upgrades as they go through. You'll see what I mean when I actually get round to building it, but before I can do that I need a lot more of the blue circuit boards. Is that the advanced circuit boards? I can't remember now. And then of course the red ones as well, and I need a lot more of those. So I'm not going to start doing that yet because we're a bit limited on the production of those. I'm going to need to find, I think, another patch of copper. I mean, I've got patches of copper here that I am using, but I don't think I've got quite enough. But here's the coal. That's going to come up along that belt there. We want to put down another belt just to the south of those three plastic factories. But I was just checking all the details for the power armor. I need 100 of the blue circuit boards, and I don't actually have those. The robots are bringing up everything that I do have, but I don't have a full 100, so I am going to need to just pop down this chest here. So that's putting all that plastic in. As it turns out, two factories produce plastic faster than a fast inserter can take them away, so the third factory isn't really going to be doing a lot. Probably not needed, unless I change things around a little bit and maybe have two fast inserters removing the items from there. But I can get back to that. We've now got it on standby. So what I needed really for this unit here was I need the red electronic circuits to go into it so that I can make those blue ones. I've put in a handful of them, but really we need to try and automate this. This is going to be something that we're going to have to work on fairly soon. But in the meantime, I don't want to use the oil down here anymore for making batteries, and I'm also going to remove the plastic and the dynamite. I want everything here to focus on just producing sulfuric acid, which I'm going to use for the blue circuits. And the reason for that is these pump jacks here, plus the two slightly to the north that are piping down, they're all on 0.1 now, so they are at the minimum that they can produce. So once this plastic has gone from here, this area down here is going to be exclusive for producing the blue circuits, and then the larger area up to the northwest, I should say, that we've just finished building will produce everything else up in that one. I will use this one down here. The heavy oil that we get out, that will be cracked into the lubricant so that we can make the engine units. I don't think that we'll be making the blue level conveyor belts from here, because those also need lubricant. And that's it. I think that's the only two things that actually need lubricant, is the blue conveyor belts and the engine units, the electric engines. I don't think there's anything else in this game that needs that lubricant, so you don't need masses of it. The main thing that you do need from the heavy oil is the fuel, I think, as far as I know. I mean, there's certain parts of this game that I haven't actually got to yet. getting to unlock the rocket, that is something that I haven't done yet, and I'm just rerouting all of this plastic. This is going to come down here, and it's going to come in to where the plastic is coming up to the red circuits there, and that is now going to be providing a constant supply. I might move it round a little bit down the bottom so that I can eliminate that other supply line coming up. There's a whole conveyor belt there that's being taken up with that, and now that the batteries aren't coming up there, I might just change things around so that I can remove that conveyor belt altogether, and it'll free up a bit of space for doing other little projects. So I need to make my armor suit, and I'm just going to get a load more copper here because I don't think we've got quite enough copper moving out. The top furnace there isn't being used to its maximum ability, and also I just want to clear up all of this copper anyway. So if I put in a few extra mining drills. Now, I've found that the best way to try and put mining drills down is to try and keep the flow of ore even across all belts. And you sort of move the belts around quite a bit and put them centered so they're just feeding onto both sides, and I'm just going to move these around a little bit here so that I can hopefully have it all feeding into both sides. So I've just put a couple of slight kinks into the belts there, and that should present a bit more of an even flow coming out of the whole production lines there. Everything seems to be flowing quite evenly there. And you've got to take into account that the inserters always take from one side, so you need to sort of bias it a little bit to take a little bit of the more ore out of, or feed more ore into that one side than the other, depending on how you got your furnaces set up. Right, I'm going to remove all of this stuff from my small power armor. I've got my larger suit now, and I've got the fusion reactor. So I put in the robot port that I already had. I'm going to need some more blue circuits. I would like one of the walking frames. Those give you a speed boost. They're absolutely brilliant. I'm going to put in a couple of solar panels just where I've got a bit of room. Get rid of that smaller armor suit. And I also like to get some night vision goggles, as well as a second roboport. The night vision goggles, they're really good, but I mean, the only major complaint that I've got with them is that it sends everything green at night. I mean, and I believe that it is, you know, how night vision goggles actually work, but it's slightly annoying. I don't particularly like having everything in green. That's just a personal preference. I mean, there's probably plenty of other people who think it looks really good. Excuse me, I'm a bit croaky today. So I'm going to get some more power down here, and now that I've got all these extra construction robots, they bring this stuff down pretty quickly, and it's starting to get very impressive, the speed that they'll throw all these. Did you see that? Almost that entire blueprint was put out in one go. I do just have to wait for them now to start recharging, so they become a lot more staggered now as they travel back and forth, but they are coming down pretty quick. They're putting that one up on the left hand side there very fast. That one's almost all done now. I've got a few little logistics robots popping down, and there come another load of construction robots for the right hand side, bringing all of those down. See how fast they bring it in? It's absolutely brilliant. And if we get a few more robots on top of this, and then I'm going to be setting them up with, you know, remember I said that you get a whole load of robots bringing out concrete all in one go? We're going to be setting that up soon. I'm going to put down a factory in a bit for making cement. And once we've got concrete, I think it is, yeah, concrete. Once we've got there's my walker, by the way. Just going to put that one in. That gives us a slight speed boost on the ground, and then if we can put concrete over everything, that'll give us another even faster speed boost. Now, it's going a little bit quicker now. I have experimented with putting it's an exoskeleton, I think it is, 6 exoskeletons onto my person and running around on concrete. And it's brilliant and all, and you can go faster than the car can drive. It's absolutely fantastic. The only problem with it is that if you just want to move just a little distance and not be standing on a conveyor belt, because you go so fast, you kind of leap forward, which is very, very annoying, actually, because you can't sort of stop where you need to. So you can have too many exoskeletons and you can go too fast. So that is, yeah, that's just one of the little quirks to this game that I've discovered. I'll just make another roboport. I'm going to drop one down here, and this is where we're going to make our factory for making concrete. Now, we do need water for this. I'm going to have to bring water over from the big pond over here. Just going to check around a bit and do a few other little bits and pieces while I'm waiting for a few things. We'll put that one down so that we can get the rest of the stone out of that little patch there. And I also need these bricks, which are crafted from the stone, and because I've been crafting everything into walls, it's going to make a little bit of a difference. So we're going to have to wait just a little while for those to start accumulating, but that's alright. We've got a few on us. We've got nearly 300 of them on us anyway, so I can put a few of those in if I need them. I'm just gathering a few batteries and stuff because there's a few extra things that I want to craft. And I'm going to put down this roboport so that it joins in to as much as possible. I really want it over here. I'd like to join it in so that it connects up to the system by as many other points as possible. And now it's time to get rid of some of these. We don't need these guns anymore. We don't use them at all. I've got to be aware that I can't remove all of the power lines because they're feeding our iron ore, the mining situation over there. We've got that big mining station, so I can't remove all of the power cables because otherwise we're just going to wind up with everything grinding to a halt. And you've got to be really careful when you're making major redesigns to your base. It's very easy to overlook just a slight little tiny detail that results in what can be sometimes a near catastrophe. And there they go, look at that, all those lovely little construction robots moving in and grabbing everything and carting it off. That's fantastic. They are brilliant, aren't they? Right, night vision. Now, as you can see, everything is green, which isn't great. You know, I'm just going to make another roboport here. I'll just let that one accumulate a minute. So yeah, I got everything in green. It's kind of alright, but yeah, I'm not a big fan. I just love that. The way those robots come down there like that and just grab everything, it's fantastic. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the green. I'm sure there's a mod somewhere that has altered that so that it's not all in green. That it would be fantastic. I'm going to stick another roboport down here, I think. I've got another storage chest there, but it's not being covered by anything yet. So if I stick another roboport just south of the steam engines, I should be able to connect it into everything else. And get rid of that conveyor belt in a minute. Here come the robots. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. And I meant what I said before. You know, I said I was going to get a huge area of forest and remove the whole lot all at once. We are going to experiment that. I'm going to try and get as many construction robots there as we can, all ready to go, and then kaboom, and we'll see what that looks like. I'm actually really looking forward to that. I think that is going to make some very impressive footage. Going to need to have some space ready to store all of that wood. But anyway, now that I've cleared everything else around, I just want to start connecting this one up. And yeah, if I drop one of those in there, like that, I want to get water from down here, pull that across. I've got plenty of angled pipes so that I don't need to block everything up. They are going to be making it so that you can just run and drag these. I think I mentioned that before. You will be able to run and drag these like you can with the telegraph poles. That's in an upcoming update. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but I am quite looking forward to it. I think that is going to be an absolutely brilliant thing to do. Now, slight problem. Once we get these out here, I want to put down a requester chest here, and we're going to request that we get the stone brought over. We've encountered a slight issue, and you can't quite see it on this because it's time-lapsed, but well, you can actually. You see that fast inserter? It's not going very fast. It's because I got no power. And when I removed everything down here, I actually removed the only connection that all of those solar panels to the south have got to everything above the tracks here, which is an absolute disaster, so I've got to join them back in there. And that's what I meant by you've got to be really careful that you don't isolate certain areas of your base. So I accidentally isolated that, and nearly, yeah, we could have had like a breakthrough or something like that from from the north. It wouldn't have happened from the south because they're now connected up to the solar panels down there. But that's really all I got time for today. We will work on the concrete construction a bit better next time. If you enjoyed this video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.